So imagine you have a dog, and your dog's name is Frank. It's a strange dog name, but just go with it. You and Frank are best pals. You go on walks together, Frank always walks faster, but still, you really love Frank a lot. You only have one photo of Frank, though, this goofy shot of Frank at his birthday party, drooling on the cake. And because you love this weirdly named dog so much, you're worried you might lose this photo. So you upload the photo, your favorite photo, to one of your favorite photo websites, like Flickr, Facebook, or Picasa. And without realizing it, you just started cloud computing. But what does that mean? When you put Frank's photo online, you could picture a giant cloud coming down to vacuum up this photo off your laptop. Then the photo of Frank, birthday hat and all, lives up in the cloud until you need to look at it again. You log on to Flickr or Facebook, and there's Frank. You can see him from wherever you want, from home, from work, even on your phone, in case you start missing Frank during your lunch break. At first, the cloud seems like magic, but it's not. The photo of Frank isn't flying around in the sky. Frank's photo actually lives in a secret warehouse full of computers. These warehouses are called data centers, or server farms, and they're popping up all over the world, just like crops. Inside one of the computer warehouses, there are rows and rows of refrigerator-sized computer towers that are way more powerful than your home computer. It's hard to know exactly where your photo of Frank may be once it's in the cloud. That's because it may be in a dozen of these warehouses all at once. Frank may be chilling in Paris or hanging out in India. There's really no way to know for sure. You just have to trust a web company, like Google or Microsoft, to keep Frank safe. There are a bunch of reasons to do this. The first is that, well, you only have one photo of Frank. It's on your laptop, and if that laptop breaks, if an alien comes to steal the data, or if your apartment melts when a volcano erupts, you're out of luck. No more Frank, no more memories. But when Frank's in the cloud, he's stored not just in one place, but all over the place. So you're less likely to lose him. You also can access Frank's photo from anywhere. You can send a link to some of your friends, so they can see Frank too. That's just one of the many powers of cloud computing. And it's not just you and Frank. Entire businesses are running in the cloud. There are plenty of reasons to be scared of the cloud too. But for now, you decide to trust the cloud as backup. If Frank's happy, then you're happy.
What it is. One thing in today's world, everything has the word cloud attached to it if you can connect it to the internet. Western Digital sells these little cloud drives for $400 that it's not a cloud drive at all. It's just a network attached storage that has a dynamic DNS so you can get to it from anywhere, but it's still your hardware you're maintaining. It's not really a cloud service.
Yeah, I have one of those, but can't figure out how to get it to the clouds.
You should fix that for him, Josh.
11 minutes ago, a guy checked or posted a message in here. What room it in? So I should go find him. The guy I've never met.
What is it?
Joe Smith. Let's see if I can find him.
That's not a real person.
Yeah, well, I know. What is this, room 1A?
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, you're
I'm
fine.
trying to track this Yahoo down. In case he checks his Facebook. Oh, quick. Room 1A. I'll be right back.
This connection is kind of crappy. I don't know if it's my HDMI cable or this wall plate or what. Doesn't take.
Going in this building, it's probably the wall plate.
Oh yeah, definitely the wall plate. There's no way to do audio in here?
Huh?
There's no way to do audio in here through a system?
Probably not.
No CD speakers.
It's probably not hooked up to run through the projector either.
Anytime I do it, I actually just bring my clips speakers in here and set them up on a 3.5 or 3.5 jack.
Is IU doing any cloud stuff? Or they're still just keeping all down Wilmington?
Signed a huge agreement with Box, so every IU user gets 50 gigs of enterprise box storage. Yep. And if you hit 50 gigs, they're examining whether or not to bump your quota to 100.
Everybody, Joe Smith.
How you doing?
Hello.
Introduce yourselves.
I have Josh at the house.
Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Kip McLean.
Kip, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Where are you going here?
Everybody sit in the front.
I'm Paul Watkins.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Poor Paul has to walk all the way to the back and do anything. His gizmo up in the front.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Do you have any experience with cloud storage or cloud computing, or do you even know what it is?
I've heard of it. Is that good?
It's good. It's a start.
That's about it.
So, to recap, kind of, we just got started, so you haven't missed much. Cloud computing, especially cloud storage, is just you using a service that belongs to somebody else. Essentially, it's available anywhere in the world. The whole point of it is you don't maintain the hardware, you don't care about how it works or the back end, you just use it. And you want it to work for you all the time without worrying about the hows or the whys or the super technical. The biggest uses for it are collaboration, syncing between devices, disaster recovery, centralization. It makes cost planning really easy, and it has a high return on investment for most things. With these cloud storage, most of them, you can easily send links to other people that, hey, check out this document. They can edit the document if you give them permission to do so. And these services will keep version tracking for you. So if you don't like a change someone made, you can roll back. Some of them have workflows so you can approve or deny changes. And it makes it a lot easier than sending around a Word document to 15 people and hoping to capture everyone's changes. And it can get to be a real mess if you're pulling attachments out of email hoping you have the right version or overwriting a version or anything like that. The device sync is pretty self-explanatory. Your files are available on almost any device you have, whether it's a phone, iPad, Android, computer, it doesn't really matter. The disaster recovery, in the event that aliens or a volcano take out your computer or any of your devices, or you lose them or whatever, you don't have to worry about, oh no, I lost all that information. You don't have to pay for an expensive data recovery service or anything like that. It's just there. You can go get it and pull it back down. Centralization, if you have an office where you have multiple people storing important files, they can all upload these files to a cloud service, and it can be like a central file server. So if they leave or their computer gets destroyed or whatever, everyone still has access to the files they need. Most storage solutions will give you the access to put permissions on these, so if not everyone in your company needs to see a certain file, you can still have it there and delegate who can and can't see it. The cost planning, you don't have to worry about, okay, I bought a $2,000 storage device to sit in my office, and I'm going to keep using that until it dies. Well, when that happens, maybe you don't have the $2,000 in your budget for that, or it doesn't come at a time where you can plan for that cost. So with the cloud services, it's typically a monthly cost, and makes that planning a lot easier. Return on investment is typically really high, especially when you use cloud services as a part of your core business. So if you're developing applications or something that requires a large storage backend, it's a lot cheaper to use somebody else's storage facilities than to develop your own, staff your own, especially when you've got to worry about uptime and things like that. So what are some of the most popular cloud vendors? This is by no means a complete list. There's Microsoft. They have a SkyDrive product, which is a part of their Microsoft Live suite, and then they have Office 365, which also allows you to buy storage. The SkyDrive, for a free account, I believe you still get 25 gigs free, and pretty much lets you upload documents, pictures. They have limitations on whether or not you can upload certain types of scripts or application files and things like that. And I believe you can still buy more. I haven't tried to buy more in quite a while. I know with Office 365, it's hosted email storage. They give you SharePoint, which is you can use it for a knowledge repository, and you can buy more storage through them. That's more for a business use than a personal use, but it's available either way. Then Google just announced a product called Google Drive. It's pretty much a like all the other cloud vendors, it's just a place to store stuff online, documents, pictures, whatever. It integrates with Google Apps. It integrates more closely with the personal version right now than it does the business version. And if you already use like Google Docs or spreadsheets, things like that, the storage that you use for those documents does not count against your Google Drive allotment. They get 5 gigs for free, and it's really cheap to buy more storage through them. One big concern with the Google product is it's got the same terms of service applied to it as all of their other apps, meaning that their terms of service says that any data you upload can be used by them for really anything. So you have to be cautious about what you're putting in there. And even though they say they're not taking ownership of your data and they're not going to use it for certain things, the way their terms of service reads, they can change that line at any time and still be covered. There's Apple with their iCloud, which is primarily designed to work with Apple mobile devices like your iPad, your iPhone, Mac OS, and it houses all your purchases from iTunes. You can upload photos through iPhoto, it'll sync your apps, all of that stuff, and you can buy more storage, and you can store other things in there too. They give you access to store documents and whatnot, but it's a tool that's primarily made for the Mac user. There is a Box and Dropbox. These are huge people in the collaboration cloud storage arena. It's what they do. They've built their whole business on being able to upload a file and share it. They both provide applications, so you could set a certain folder to sync, so you still have offline and online storage in the event you didn't have internet access. Some exciting news about Box. It's been approved by IU for institutional data. So IU is very, very strict about where data can be stored, and they've just signed a huge agreement with Box so that all of their users will be given 50 gigs of encrypted storage. And for Box, it's a huge vetting of their product and their security record. And then Dropbox is pretty much the same thing. They're the biggest two competitors with each other. SugarSync is another product that's just like Box and Dropbox. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know what its cool fancy thing is. I work with someone who uses it, and he says it's pretty much like Dropbox. Backblaze is an interesting product. It comes with unlimited storage, but it's not like the other ones where you upload certain files. It's strictly meant for backup. Once your computer is backed up or whatever, you can go in and pull out individual files. But its whole purpose is to be your backup for everything. You can back up your entire computer, including virtual machines if you use any of that stuff. And a cool thing about it is you can back up external drives too, so long as they're plugged into a computer every 30 days. So if you've got a terabyte drive with a bunch of real estate pictures on it, and you want to back it up, you just plug it in, run the wizard, it'll back it up, and then every 30 days, as long as you plug it in, it'll keep that drive backed up. And it's really, really cheap too. I believe it was like $10 a month for unlimited storage on one computer. So there's a huge downside to it though, is the initial backup takes forever. Because it's taking all of your data, encrypting it, and throwing it up in the cloud. So, if you have a slow internet connection speed, like I have AT&T DSL, it takes forever. It was going up at like 1.5 meg a second. So, I was capturing about 13 gig a day, and at home I have close to 4 terabytes of information that I was trying to back up. So, it did take a while.
So you could literally research all the other options and pick something else while that backup drive is...
Yeah.
Sorry, bad joke.
There are a lot of competitors to Backblaze that do the same thing, and all of them are just as slow. So it's nothing against Backblaze. It's just the nature of the pushing everything to the cloud. One thing to worry about here is if you're running like a home office, or you're trying to save some cost and using residential internet access, Like Comcast has a bandwidth limit per month. AT&T does in some areas. So you want to be careful that you don't hit that. And you also want to turn off this client if you're using a mobile hotspot. So if you're in Panera, or I guess Panera wouldn't matter, but if you're sitting in your truck in a parking lot somewhere, hopping on real quick to check email or whatever, you don't want that thing to start syncing. It'll eat through your data plan like that. So something to be cautious of. Carbonite and Mozy are more backup clients. They back up different files. Carbonite has a lot of limitations on what you can back up to it, whereas Mozy doesn't. I believe you can do full hardware backups with Mozy, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a complete solution where you could keep basically an image of an entire device, Mozy's an option. Carbonite's another one of those. I want to back up my pictures folder type things. If you're doing application development or looking at storage for a big system, Amazon has an S3 service, which is really cheap. It's just a pay per use. So you don't buy a certain amount. You can buy packages, but the most cost-effective way to do it is just do pay per use. So they just charge you a small access fee for the read-write and then a small storage fee for that. It's pretty cool. Probably not many non-techie small businesses will use it, but if you're doing application development or you know somebody who is, it's something worth looking at. And we were talking about this before we got started. A Drive is out there. It's out there giving 50 gig accounts to anyone who wants one. 50 gigs for free with the caveat that nothing you put in there is encrypted. It's not encrypted up, down, or while stored. So if their server gets hit or someone's keeping an eye on your traffic, they can pick out what's in there. So probably not a good place to store anything that you wouldn't show everyone anyway. iStorage is it's a product that's out there by iOmega. You may be familiar with them. They make external drives. They've been in the storage game for a long time with like zip disks and stuff like that. But the cool thing about their storage is you can buy essentially a disk, whether it's 50 gig, 100 gig, whatever, and buy so many user access licenses to it. So you could, for a certain fee a month, you buy 50 gigs with 5 licenses. So if we did that, then all of us could use the same share. We wouldn't have to pay a per user fee. They kind of build that in for you. So it's a little cheaper if you're going to have a lot of people that just need a place to store stuff online. I just tried to pick out some of the most popular and some different things that kind of offer different alternatives, kind of showing you that there are a lot of options out there and there are a lot more than this. So it's a difficult landscape to navigate. We'll quickly run through some pros and cons here. Most of these we've already mentioned. Anytime, anywhere access, no hardware maintenance. You don't need much IT support to get these things started or going. Most of the time it's go to a web browser and click the upload button or download a small application and tell it what you want to back up. You might need some IT support if you've got a large amount of data you're trying to move or something like that, but for the most part it just works type deal. Device independence, it doesn't matter what you're using, whether it's a Mac or a PC or an iPad. Most of these products work the same on all of the platforms. It's disaster resistant. I say resistant because it's not foolproof. If a volcano erupts and your information is stored in a data center that's fairly close to where your office is and they both get wiped out at the same time, then there's still a possibility that that stuff could be gone. Hopefully the vendor has a good disaster recovery plan so your data can be brought back, but there's no solution that's 100% guaranteed not to disappear at some point. Probably the biggest pro is it's easily expandable. It's as simple as clicking a button and agreeing to increase your monthly charge. I've listed security and cost as a con with a double asterisk, and it may seem kind of weird. It's really both a pro and a con. especially on the security front. If you find some of these vendors that don't encrypt your data, that's a security con, obviously. But there are some out there like Box that encrypt your data while it's in transit and while it's being stored. Some of them are even HIPAA compliant. So depending on what you're looking for as far as compliance, whatever industry regulations you have for the types of data you're storing, there's a solution out there that probably meets it, but you have to be very cautious to make sure that it is compliant, because even though you're storing data with somebody else, it's your customer's data and you can be held liable for where you put it. So it's one of those areas that it's good to be very cautious with. Cost, if you're storing not very important data and you're paying for a service, you may be better off just going to Walmart and buying an external hard drive for $100. So if you're paying $10 a month to store a bunch of stuff and you're not sharing it with anyone and you don't care if you lose it, then over the course of a year, like if it was pictures or I don't know, something like I've got stuff I don't care if I lose. I'm trying to think of what it is though. I've got a bunch of music that I have on CD, but I've ripped the computer. If I lose it, it's not that big of a deal. I still got the CDs. So it's probably not cost effective to pay for cloud storage for that music. It's $10 a month over 12 months. That's $120. I could go buy an external hard drive for $100 or less, and that external hard drive would probably last me quite a while, especially if I'm just using it to back up music. So something to look at there. I've already kind of touched on the liability. If you pick a vendor that's not encrypting your data and you're storing client data that's sensitive, and they have a breach, you can be held liable for that because you chose them. Then it's up to you to take up your losses and your liability concerns with that vendor. But just because your customer didn't make the contract with the vendor, so as the middleman, you can be held liable. We've touched on bandwidth with the residential stuff, not burning through that and on mobile devices. And with the Google Drive stuff, I touched on the content ownership. It's important to read the terms of service. The last thing you want is to upload something that is an industry secret or proprietary data, and then have someone like, oh, hey, that's a good idea. We'll just incorporate that into our next service or whatever. Beat you to the punch type thing. So how should you go about evaluating one of these cloud vendors if you're going to use one? The most important thing you can do, and something that everyone hates doing, reading the terms of service. It's some of them are really long and really complicated, and most of these vendors are really good. If you have questions about the terms of service, if you contact them, they'll clarify for you. They want you to understand as much as you can, so you know what you're getting into, because the terms of service has been shown to be a legally binding contract. So you have to be very careful what you get yourself into. The security, I've said that enough times. The compliance, I've touched on that too. Make sure whatever you pick meets the requirements of whatever regulations you're bound by. Uptime, most of these people claim 90% plus uptime. If you're worried about something going down, if it's data you always need access to, you're going to want to look for a 99.9% uptime or higher. Most of these people can provide uptime reports, so you'll know how often it goes down, how long it's down, that kind of thing. Cost, obviously, no one wants to pay more than they have to. And real user experiences. We all know that if someone's unhappy with a product, they're more likely to write about it, to talk about it, than if they're happy with a product. But reading through, just doing Google searches on someone you're looking at can really tell you, okay, all of these people had bad experiences. Well, why were they having bad experiences? Was it just because they didn't understand what was going on, or was the company really doing something? It can give you insight into the customer service and the kind of the company philosophy to your data. So now this is the point where you talk, because my throat is dry. So how do you, if you do, or would you use a cloud service or cloud storage? if I was like, hey, I'll build you anything you want and you don't have to pay for it.
The user experience comment that you just made jumped right out of me because I mentioned I've used A Drive for years, but now I hardly ever use it because Dropbox is so much more convenient. I drag it over, I make a folder just like a folder on my, on my PC. Well, literally it is a folder on my PC that gets uploaded to the cloud and then synced to those other devices that have it, or not synced compared to, if it's the iPhone app, I can just see it and then save it if I want to. So all that's really convenient, whereas with A Drive you have to upload it, and then if you want to share it with anybody, you have to copy and paste a link into email, or something like that. There may be other more convenient ways that they've come up with recently, but traditionally that's what you have to do. Upload your files individually or as a zip file, compress them and upload them as a zip, and then send them that link. And then hopefully they know how to unzip it if it's somebody that's, not that computer savvy. So I guess that there's that convenience of, here's your link, download your zip file, and I'm done with you, rather than setting up a shared folder on a Dropbox account. But, if you can get over that hurdle, I so much prefer Dropbox because of the drag and drop convenience. Even though it has less storage, cost is a wash. They're both free, but yeah.
Unless you want a huge amount of storage.
Right. The user experience was big in that decision, I guess you'd say. And even having other options like Google Apps or Google Docs. Hey, I've already got it uploaded to Google Docs. Here's a link for it. I don't even think of that, because of Dropbox being so much more convenient.
Right. And a lot of people, unless they're techie, odds are if you send them a link to Google Docs, they'll just be like, what's this? So they'd much rather, they understand the concept of downloading a Word document or a PDF.
Yeah, before they even try it, they send you back a message that says, do I have to have a Google account to do this? And they probably actually already do have a Google account. They just forgot.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I guess I just have a question.
Go for it.
One of my wife's questions, more or less than anything, but just ways to back up all family pictures and things that take up a lot of data storage that, without getting into a huge monthly cost. But you want something that's fairly safe. What do you recommend with the thousands of options out there?
How much data are we talking about? Let's look at it from that standpoint.
Probably, 30 to 40 gig.
With Dropbox, it's going to get a little bit pricey, but Dropbox is an option. Box is an option. Those are the easiest to use.
Okay.
Or you could do something like Mozy or Carbonite. Between the two, I would say Mozy over Carbonite. It's fairly. Josh uses Mozy.
Yeah, I hate Carbonite. Carbonite, it only does certain file types, so you can't back up. You can do a whole backup of your whole computer. You can just do the documents, the pictures, things like that. I have Mozy right now. It's $6 a month for 50 gigs on Mozy.
How much?
$6 a month.
And with Mozy, it's they have a Mozy Home free version that gives you 2 gigs to play with to see if you like it. If you there's an additional information sign-up sheet somewhere. If you put your name and email address on it, I can send you more information. I've got a bunch of in-depth analysis on a lot of these products that I can send you. I'll just send you links to web pages and links to all the free account stuff. So that way you don't have to spend hours Googling stuff. You can just kind of hit some links, check out some stuff. It'll save you a bunch of time.
How much sharing will you be doing with those photos? Is this really just
to store them?
Just to store them and for safekeeping?
Right.
A Drive would work there.
Yeah.
Because it's free and you get 50 gigs, and you're not worried about sharing with Grandma and Aunt Louise and what have you. Basically, it's just a big box in the sky.
Okay.
Might take a look at it, play around with it, and see if you like it. It's free to try, because it's free.
And I mean, with family photos, the odds of someone stealing them, I mean, they're not encrypted, so it could happen, but it's, I guess you have to determine what kind of level of security you want on those photos. So that's the one downside to the A drive free version. I don't know how much they charge for the encryption though.
I'm on A drive right now, and I don't see the word encryption here. So, I mean, obviously your stuff's password protected. Somebody had to hack your password.
It's not like it's sitting up there for anyone to download.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. So if you're uploading and downloading stuff that it doesn't, like for me, those real estate photos, I don't need those encrypted ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to use that service, for example, to store client information like credit card numbers or the key card passwords or anything like that could potentially be a security risk for the client. So I could put that stuff literally anywhere.
Do some of those
Encryption's not a concern.
some of these storage devices work better with mobile devices than others, or is there a difference?
if you're wanting to like view your files on a mobile device,
You're right.
Dropbox, Box, SugarSync, those are going to be your best bets. I've never tried to view files in Mozy on a mobile device. Have you, Josh?
Mozy is just a pure backup. It's not to share.
It won't let you see your files individually or anything like that. Okay. I know Backblaze will let you see your files on a mobile device. They've got an iPhone app, an Android app, and an iPad app where you can pull up and see your files. But if the easiest way to see them, I don't know if A Drive works on mobile device. I haven't used it in a long time either.
They say they have an app coming.
Okay.
So and they've completely redesigned their site since the last time I used it. So that's probably months ago. But
A-Drive starts at $6.95 a month for the encryption.
Okay.
you found it good. Okay. But that's a business plan versus a personal plan?
That's the personal premium plan.
I see. Okay. There we go. But I do like this is new. Edit your documents online, which obviously you can do with Google Documents. Can you do this with Dropbox? I'll just read it. It says, we utilize Zoho technology with our cloud services to allow users to edit their word processing documents, spreadsheets, and presentations online. You can open, edit, and save your documents all from within your A Drive account. That's new to me. Can you do that with any of those other services?
I don't know.
With Dropbox, you can go
I know
to
you
the
can
website,
view them.
You can upload and you can download, but you can't edit them all.
I don't think you
Okay.
can edit with Box either.
Yeah, like I know you can just, like if you tap on a Word document, you can read it from your Dropbox account, but I didn't know you could do that with A Drive, so I think that's pretty new.
That's interesting.
Yeah, a little bonus for you.
We're all learning something today.
Yeah.
And you have multiple users in the same file making changes at the same time with these type packages.
Like with Dropbox, if you share it out to multiple users, it does version tracking.
Okay.
So someone downloads it, they make a change, they upload it. It'll compile everything together.
Okay. So you'd have one finished product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. I believe if you check out a file for editing, you can lock it so someone else can't make a revision at the same time.
Mm.
So then you don't end up with like a forked revision tree. But
In Dropbox, I don't know about the others. I haven't tried this with Dropbox, but supposedly somebody deletes a file, you can go back to the file history and undelete it.
for like 30 days or something like that.
Yeah, see,
in most services.
that sounds pretty cool to me if you're collaborating with other people in your office or across the country, whatever.
Yeah.
For doing editing stuff like that, we use Google Docs just because you can see, you can literally see almost in real time
Yeah.
the changes that someone's making to another document at the same time that you're making them. They just have a different color that their cursor is, so you can actually see where they're at on that document. So that's what we use. And then you can have multiple people editing the same document at the same time, and they're not working on the exact same part of it, but you can see where everyone else is at.
Doesn't it also like lock paragraphs or so many lines above and below so you can't actually be typing in the same physical space?
No, because I mess with my brother all the time and delete the stuff that he's typing. So
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I think
Avoid family
might-
business.
There might be an option somewhere in there, but we don't have it turned on.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. As of right now, we do file sharing between 3 different levels of users. Is there a service? What we have right now is we have a Dropbox account that has the folder shared down, and then the lower levels only have access to the bottom folder, and then that folder that they have access to is shared with the upper 2 users, up that way. Is there an easier way to do that with any of the other services, or is doing that with Dropbox about the easiest way to do it?
I think that's pretty much going to be your easiest way to do it, because all of these services are still bound by some of the basic principles of file storage.
Yeah.
So you want your permissions as close to you're limiting permissions as close to the file as you can. So
Yeah.
the way you've got it set up is pretty much like everything's going to require it because on the back end they're running like Linux file servers. So while it looks cool and fancy in your web browser, the back end is just a bunch of standard stuff.
Okay.
Now some of them may have come up with some novel way to do that, but to my knowledge, pretty much the way you're doing it's the way to do it.
Okay. And then using Google, yes, technically they can change their terms and conditions. How big of a I guess I could say a threat is that? How likely is that to happen?
Well, their company model is don't be evil. And for the most part, they haven't given any indication that they're going to take your plans and incorporate it into their next awesome Google app.
Yeah.
But there's always the chance, because the terms of service is written very broadly, so to cover them for quite a while. They unified everything.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason it's so broad is because they want to be able to share your data between Google Plus and Gmail and all of their services and pull it all together. And since they're all separate business units and they keep buying businesses, they just want to be able to pass that data between those things to give you the best user experience they can. I don't think there's a huge risk, really. It's just a possibility. And a lot of people who are really, really, really paranoid with privacy see that as a step back. I realized the other day that Google probably knows more about me than I do. My phone is synced to Google. Almost all of my email goes through Google, except for my work stuff. And I should say my IU stuff. My other stuff goes through Google. My pictures, everything almost is. If Google doesn't know the most about me, then Facebook probably does. But which really, if you think about it in a twisted way, Facebook is kind of a cloud storage platform also, because you can upload pictures to it and share them and whatever. So.
Or choose not to share them.
Yeah.
So
Make a
you
private
really,
album.
You really
can just
could
get on
use
there.
it as a backup drive.
Be kind of a difficult way. I hate the Google picture uploader or the Facebook picture uploader. So.
Right, and then the download is, whatever resolution that they've decided to store it at.
Yeah.
So, if you have a 12 megabyte panoramic picture of the Grand Canyon, it's going to be that big when it comes back down from Facebook. Right? Can you download original file on Facebook?
No, the only option you have is the preview picture, and then if when you upload it, you check the little box at the bottom that says higher quality, then they'll store larger resolution files, but it takes forever to upload them.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to talk about some of your experience using super awesome Mosey to save yourself?
Yeah, Mosey saved myself on some business clients I have on their servers. Like I said before, it's not to sync, it's just as a pure backup, so that's all you need it for. It's a pretty good tool. You basically set it up once and you forget about it, and every time it sets around whenever you update files or add new files. Usually if you have enough storage on your account, just tell it to back up a whole drive. And if you have an issue or something goes down, you lose the file accidentally, delete it, you can go back, you can go into your little application for Mosey, and you can view the files and re-download them back if you need to. And there's revision history, so if you have the same, like a Word document, you can edit it like once a day. You can go back, I want it from yesterday, I want it from a week ago, as far back as you want to go and get the right version. That's pretty handy.
It does that for all the files that you put on your revision.
Anything that you're backing up.
One problem that is that you actually have to save the document.
You just have to save the document.
Yeah, if you don't save the document, it won't get
Yeah.
backed up.
You don't save the document's not on the computer either. So.
Save early and save often.
Who does that?
Save before crash, that's my motto. Anyway, what about a backup system for like a blog that you've built, or any kind of website for that matter, where you don't have to sit and manually download all the files by FTP or whatever, that there'd be an online cloud storage version to just say make a backup of this website that I own. I mean, I don't want to steal somebody else's website.
You don't have one, do you?
No, I host my stuff and I trust them to keep the backups.
There's a site called Backupify.
Backupify.
Backupify. If you do WordPress websites, then there's a plugin you can download and set up to automatically back up to Backupify. You can also even link it with your Google accounts. You can link it with Facebook and Twitter accounts to back up your data.
I did see that. Only I saw the backup your Facebook, Twitter presence part. I didn't dig into it to the WordPress and everything else.
Yeah, they're always updating and adding new sites that they back up. It's a pretty cool tool. I think there's a free version that gave it to you for free.
Interesting. I will definitely be checking that out.
So if you're doing WordPress sites, it's a perfect backup of the site because it backs up all the file structure in your database.
Yeah, sweet.
I host with one-on-one, and part of the contract claims that they keep a backup in the event that their stuff goes down, so I don't worry about my websites too much.
Right.
Probably should worry about them a little bit more than I do, but they've got 99% uptime, and I just post to them, so.
Especially in JR's case when you're actually doing client sales, it's even more important to
Yeah.
back up.
Right. We've had virus issues with a couple of those.
Oh,
This
wow.
is obviously confidential information, but and not with others. Our hosting system, like for example, I have my own hosting account on the same business where we host all of our other client websites. Mine's never had a problem. I host several websites, never had glitch one, and the other, my partner's hosting, his hosting account has had only, a very few of the accounts, that become, subject to viruses, and it's been real tough for us to get completely rid of it, without blowing away the site and rebuilding it from scratch.
So I take it you're using
Which we have done, by the way.
a smaller company as opposed to like one of these large host things.
It's not GoDaddy.
Yeah, like GoDaddy or One-in-One, or I think One-in-One's the largest in the world right now.
Oh my God.
But probably be talking to the people who manage that service. Why aren't they scanning stuff that's going in and out of that? And obviously you want to get your stuff taken care of, but I'd probably be beating on some doors and.
Well, they've made some recent improvements, to their robustness of their system. So I don't know. I kind of take it that we weren't the only ones who were having problems.
Without identifying who it is it someone local?
No.
Okay. Anything else you got for me?
Great job. Very good information.
Like I said, if you get your name on the additional information sheet, which was somewhere, I think it was over by Kip at one point.
Great job.
I'll send you some more in-depth stuff. It's not a mailing list, just one email. If you want to get on my mailing list, I can tell you how to do that. But I don't know if I'd want to be on my mailing list right now. Most of the stuff's kind of boring. So. And I'll upload a version of this presentation too, so you can rewatch it. And I'll put up a transcript of some of your comments if you're okay with that. May not identify who said it, but just the text. So since it'll be publicly accessible. And I'll post that to the BizTech site, and my site.
Good.
wherever. So,
Thanks.
thank you for the time.
Thank you.